Yo, 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 happy Tuesday, happy Tuesday, happy Tuesday, everyone. My name is Justin Moore, founder of Creator Wizard, where I help you find and negotiate your dream sponsorships. Welcome back to another live stream. Today, we're going to be talking, the title of today's live stream is Overheard at VidCon, Secret Hallway Conversations. Was that a juicy one? Do you like that one? I thought you would. I didn't stream last week. I was kind of recovering from a crazy experience at VidCon in Anaheim, and it was a whirlwind. Holy cow! There was I just met so many amazing people. If you follow me on LinkedIn or Instagram or Twitter or anything like that, I did these like photo dump threads where I met a bunch of a bunch of amazing people who I'd been friends with on the internet for a long time, and finally got to meet them IRL. So that was really, really fun. But there was also a lot of really interesting conversations that happened outside of the keynotes or the panels or the workshops, of just like kind of what I was hearing from other creators, from other brands, from other people in the industry. And I thought it'd be interesting to talk about that today. So let me know where you're tuning in from. We are live across a bunch of different platforms: YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, X, some other ones I think. And so let me know. We've got Kimberly Millionaire. What's up, Kimberly? Good to see you here on Instagram. Orlando Haynes, Amin Almas tuning in, Andrea Yu, Alex Ojeda, good to see you here. We've got Delilah tuning in on YouTube. We've got Manifest Dream Pro tuning in on YouTube from San Diego. We've got Mecca tuning in, Rocked. We've got Bianca from my team. What's up, Bianca? We've got Jason Fiddler from Florida still. We've got Chris Stone. What's going on, Chris? Good to see you, man. Tuning in on LinkedIn. We've got Giannis tuning in all the way from London, UK. So probably the evening for you over there, Giannis. Good to see you here, man. Andrea said she's tuning in from Texas. Well, good to see you all here. As we have more and more people dripping in here, why don't we just kick things off again? Just to mention, these live streams that I do are for y'all. So any questions that you have around sponsorships and brand deals, negotiations, etc. Definitely want to make some time a bit later in the stream to answer your questions. And I have like a really exciting announcement that I'm going to be talking about a bit later, which is the launch of my new asynchronous sponsorship coaching program. So it's called Wizards Guild, and we'll be talking about that a bit more later in the stream. So the first thing that was like a really interesting trend. So first of all, I have been, for those of you who are not familiar with VidCon, let's first go there. It is a in-person conference that happens every year in Anaheim, although they have since expanded to other locations around the world. They have a VidCon Baltimore now. They have a UK, I think Australia one. Like there's a bunch of different places that they host it now. I think they had one in Amsterdam last year. So they're definitely kind of expanding the presence. But the Anaheim location is the one that has been kind of an annual pilgrimage for me and my wife for the last decade plus. So every year we would go down to VidCon and meet up with a bunch of creator friends and try to network with brands and just make awesome connections. It was always like such an awesome thing to meet people in real life. There's just something very special about that. I have a lot of like reference points about how VidCon has been over the years. I've kind of seen it all, right? The kind of boom and bust cycle of I've gone through a couple of them, over the last, 15 plus years being on YouTube. And this one was interesting. I would say, the vibe was definitely different. So let me just give my personal assessment of how it was. It was smaller for sure. There was, I think, less attendees. They definitely tried to condense the programming into just the convention center. In years past, they've had it in some other hotels and other wings of the convention center, and it was a lot more spread out. But this year, everything was kind of in the main convention center. And there was like a couple activations that were noticeably missing, like Awesomeness, which was acquired by Viacom. VidCon is owned by Viacom, Paramount. That was missing this year, and so there was a couple other programming, stages and concert stuff that they used to have that they didn't have. So it just felt smaller in general. On the one hand, I think that was a positive trend because in years past, one criticism that I've heard is that it just felt very overwhelming. Like there was just so many things to do and so many people, and it was just kind of like chaos. And so this year didn't feel like that, which was, I think, a positive development. But at the same time, the vibe, I think, from the creators that I spoke to was different in the sense that, in years past, when you there was definitely this thing where like fans would come, or viewers would come with the hopes of like meeting their creator idols, essentially, right? And so there's these kind of meet and greet. There's this meet and greet element to VidCon, where you could sign up for a slot and you could, meet them. But there was always this hope that you would just see them kind of walking around like the food truck area or the convention center, and you could just like have a conversation with them and meet them. And that absolutely happened to me and us when we were, when we first were like growing. And so we got to meet people that we admired. But then as we grew, like we got to meet people that were watching us on YouTube and stuff, which was super cool. But I think that, one like conversation I had multiple times was that there didn't really seem to be as many kind of viewers or fans or followers as there has been in years past. And a lot of us were kind of speculating two things. Like, number one, like, are just less creators coming? Is that it? Are not as many creators like walking the halls or the floors? And one thing I think that we all kind of landed on was that I think to some degree over the last couple years, there has been an erosion of the parasocial relationship with the proliferation of the FYP, of the For You page. And let me explain. So, in years past, let's say on YouTube, when you subscribed to a creator, there was a fairly high likelihood that you would consume a lot of different videos from that creator. Like you would go to their channel in your subscriptions feed. If you saw a video from them, you would go to their channel and you would watch multiple videos. And so you developed a really deep connection with specific individual creators. And as such, developed what they call the parasocial kind of connection, the parasocial relationship, meaning that they felt like friends, even though you had never really met in real life. Like you had consumed so much of their content that there was just this depth to the relationship. And so that is one of the reasons that, there was so much interest in going to some of these in-person conferences with the chances of potentially meeting some of these people that you really looked up to. However, with the rise of TikTok, and with the rise of basically all of the other social platforms copying the, interest-based, algorithm, meaning that you're not really following creators per se anymore. Of course, you still hit follow and that mechanism still exists, but it's really the interest graph that TikTok kind of pioneered, meaning that they're just going to show you content and based on how you interact with that content, show you more or less of that. And so you have this phenomenon where someone will be saying to me like, oh, there's this really, this funny, really hilarious creator and they do this type of thing on TikTok or whatever. And I'm like, oh yeah, what's their handle? And they're like, I don't know. I don't know their name and I don't know their handle. They're just this guy or this gal who does that thing. I just like, I get it served up in my feed and I don't even follow them, but I like interact with it. Right. And so that's a really interesting thing. And you could analyze this, I think, from a bunch of different directions. But, I'm not so sure that that's a good development for the creator economy. It just makes it so much more difficult to develop your 1,000 true fans. If you've ever read that famous essay, because there's just so much more content for people to consume and, just the behavior of actually following or subscribing to people, that behavior is decreasing. In fact, Jack Conte, who is the CEO of Patreon, did a really interesting keynote about this at South by Southwest a few months back. Really worth a listen. I think it's called The Death of the Follower. I think that that is just a really interesting thing to observe, I would say, and figure out, how that, may impact your own business, right? What does that entail? What changes would you need to make in your own business to ensure that you can maintain a connection to your most engaged audience members? One way I think to combat that is have an email list, have a newsletter. I've shared this before that when I share social media content on on Instagram, let's say, for example, I will reach on average 2 to 3% of the people who follow me. I've got about 11,000 followers on Instagram. And so 2% of the people that have said follow and want to stay updated about the stuff that I'm posting, that's who's seeing it. And you could argue that I'm not making compelling enough content. Of course, you could make that argument. But at the same time, with my email list, I have an average 40 to 45% open rate. So, the 35,000 creators that are on that newsletter, 40 to 45% of them are opening that email every time. And I could even, there's some strategy associated with increasing that number of just getting more creative with subject lines and copy and all that. And so what would you prefer? 2% or 45% reach? And so I think that's one observation. I just think I wanted to start here because I think that was the most noticeable thing. We've actually got some comments here in the chat. One from Rocked. I do think YouTube's ever-changing algorithm and platform has led to followers being different and a lack of parasocial relationships for YouTubers or any content creator. Not against it. Yeah, I hear you, man. Jeff said, it was my first time and I would say it was underwhelming. So hearing the comparison makes sense. Yeah. Interesting that you also felt that way. Chris says, you get that open rate because that newsletter is dope. I appreciate that, dude. I try my best, man. I invest a lot of time, a lot of money, actually. I have a team to help me curate it. It's not me, not just me. And so I appreciate that. You saying that, dude. Manifest Dream Pro said, you rock, Justin. I open everything, which is far different than anyone else, dude. Appreciate that. Really means a lot to me, man. Delilah says TikTok really did do a strange thing to followers. It's true. They don't know anything about the people they watch daily. Yeah. So anyways, take that, feedback or take that anecdote, and do with it what you will. But I do think that this is a trend. I do think that this is something that is only going to continue to accelerate as a lot of the other social platforms try to catch up to TikTok. Okay. So the second thing that I want to talk about, of Overheard at VidCon, is that sponsorships are down year over year in terms of deal flow. This is absolutely something that I heard from a lot of different creators, that the amount of inbound deal flow that they have seen in years past has noticeably decreased. And I've talked about this in other live streams before too, but it was I speak with lots of creators on a weekly basis. And so this is something that I'm hearing a lot, but it was just amplified, in person in a lot of these conversations. And in fact, I had a lot of people, come up to me in particular because I'm the sponsorship guy and being like, Justin, what's going on? I'm not, getting the same number of deals that I have been in the past. Before I was getting brands reaching out all the time, and now, it doesn't seem like that's the case. And I think that there's two comments that I can make about this. Number one, is that there is just there has been a, massive glut in creators that have started creating content. Maybe glut isn't the right word. There has been a proliferation in the amount of people who have started creating content on the internet. That number continues to go up every year. And of course, the sponsorship dollars, the amount of money that's being poured into influencer marketing in general is also growing. But I do think that brands are being more mindful about how they spend those sponsorship dollars. And so not only, yes, the dollars are increasing, but so is the amount of quote unquote inventory to sponsor, the amount of people that are sponsorable. One observation that I can make here is that, let's say 5 years ago, there was a certain type of person who was creating content on YouTube or creating content on Instagram. It was kind of more like an influencer, I guess you could say, is like that. They were creating content in a very specific niche. And they were comfortable with that title of like creator, right? What was really interesting about TikTok in particular, I think, is that you started to see a lot of people who would not consider themselves creators posting content. Doctors, lawyers, flight attendants, people who you could call had either white collar or blue collar jobs, or just kind of the everyday person. Content creation was to some degree democratized because TikTok made it so easy. It really lowered the barrier of entry to create content, right? Because you didn't need to understand video editing really. TikTok created CapCut, so it was like, or ByteDance created CapCut, so it was like very easy to like make compelling videos with not a lot of knowledge of doing that type of thing. You really didn't need expensive camera gear. You could just use the camera that was built into everyone's smartphones, and so that massively added to the amount of people who were out there creating content on the internet. And so brands all of a sudden, over the last several years have, it's been a very exciting development for them because it opened the floodgates of potential people that they could partner, especially with niche brands, brands who operate in a very specific content vertical or industry. It has historically been pretty difficult to market because they're, maybe Facebook ads, but like, let's say you're like a B2B SaaS tool or something. Like, it's pretty hard to like find people, creators that are creating content that have authority or have developed influence around this like really specific like sales tool for like healthcare, organizations or something, right? But there's like people on the internet now, like on TikTok and now Instagram Reels and maybe even YouTube Shorts, who are like creating content around this thing. And so now brands and these, very niche companies are excited to like go to these types of people to forge these types of collaborations. So that's why I think you're seeing a growth in B2B influencer marketing, for example, on platforms like LinkedIn. There's just a lot of excitement in the space, I think, around that. And so, I really, really just think that this is there's a couple takeaways that I think you should have from this observation. The fact that sponsorships are down, inbound sponsorships are down year over year. It's like this observation that like this is only going to accelerate. There's going to only be more people creating content. And if you are someone who has historically relied only on inbound opportunities, and sponsorships is like a non-trivial percentage of your income, this is why it is so critical for you to supplement your revenue strategy with outbound prospecting. I have said this before. I maybe sound like a broken record, but I'm just going to say it over and over and over and over and over and over and over. This is one of the reasons that I created the 7-day pitch challenge. Just like get people off their butts to realize that you absolutely cannot wait. You cannot wait for the brands to reach out to you. You have to be the one to reach out there and get into their inbox, get on their radar and pitch them something. Don't just say, I would love to collaborate with you. Let's figure out what we can do. No, you have to say, here's what I'm proposing. Boom, 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 boom. It seems like you're trying to like accomplish this thing over here. I can help you accomplish that or meaningfully move the needle by sponsoring me. That's how I can do it, by doing these things. Literally, I did not plan this, but this just happened. I was just posting on Twitter and I got a testimonial from someone who participated in my 7-day pitch challenge. Her name was Alice Turner. And she said, great video. I have been meaning to reach out and let you know that your 7-day pitch challenge helped me get my first real sponsorship. This is what Alice just said, and she privately shared a few additional details. I asked her; she's making a public-facing testimonial for me right now, which is so dope. But she, I think she'd be comfortable with me sharing. Let me see what she said in here. I think I could share this. She challenged herself to reach out to 50 possible companies, and got bites. Got some bites, and then she ideated like a kind of a new series that she wanted to get sponsored. And she was able to forge. She reached out to 8 new companies with an exact specific ask, and she now has a sponsor for 10 of her 38 planned videos. Like, yeah, I think it's such an important part of building a robust creator business is understanding how do you overcome the obstacles that you have. Maybe it's mental obstacles of like actually reaching out and pitching yourself. Like what do you have to overcome to feel the fortitude to be able to do, to have the tenacity to reach out to a brand, follow up with the brand, even if you're not hearing from them. That is what is going to differentiate you. And that is what's going to separate you from the growing plethora of creators that are going to be out there vying for these sponsorship dollars. It's really that outbound prospecting process that is if you are not doing it now, it absolutely has to be mandatory as part of your strategy from here forward. Jason, what's up, Jason? I owe you a response, man, on LinkedIn. I'm sorry. I've just been a crazy couple days. Jason said, a domain company. It's very hard to find creators. Yes, it's very hard to find creators. If you're like, let's say a domain company, right? And like, you better believe a company like that is going to go out there and try to, partner with someone, let's say on LinkedIn, who's an authority in that particular industry. All right. So before we dive into Q&A, there's one more thing I wanted to talk about this kind of overheard at VidCon, secret hallway conversations, was I had a lot of people who came up to me privately and shared that they had some really bad experiences with representation or like managers. And in fact, this was crazy. I had an anecdote from one of my students. His name is Chris, Everyday Chris. And he, when I first met him, was actually last year at Vid Summit, not VidCon, but he attended one of my talks and he had just hired a manager. And because he thought that was like what you're supposed to do, like just hire a manager. He has since parted ways with that manager, and he took my course, and he actually filmed a whole testimonial for me, impromptu on the spot at VidCon, which was so dope. But what he basically said is that he learned that, to kind of paraphrase what he said, that like, you will always be the best advocate for yourself. At the end of the day, like no one else is ever going to advocate for you as well as you will. To sum it all up, that's basically what he said. And so he parted ways with that manager, and he's just experienced like tremendous success doing it on his own. And he has his wife who who helps him with a lot of this stuff as well. I had this conversation many times, not just with Chris, but a bunch of other creators who are not even my clients, or students, people who just came out to me, I met them there, or they know me tangentially, who have kind of, asked my advice around like, what do I do? How do I find a manager? How do I find an agency? In fact, I did 3 separate presentations. I was on like 2 panels, and then I was on one panel, and then I did a mentorship session, which was really cool. And then I had my main keynote, and my keynote was like I wasn't sure like what was going to happen, because my keynote was it was a Friday at 5:15, like at the very end of the day. And I was like, oh my God, is anyone going to show up? But it was a packed house, and it was crazy because I had an hour slot. And so I ended up staying an hour after. So it was like a 5:15, I think, to 6 p.m. slot, was it? And I ended up staying till 7, not just till 6, till 7, answering questions from people. So there were so many questions, and a bunch of the questions were around representation and managers and all that stuff too. And I have this like very spiky point of view around how I think that like 99% of creators should not have managers. To echo kind of some of the things that Chris was mentioning, it's just like no one's ever going to care about your business as much as you do. And so I think that it was honestly, it was kind of endearing that, not endearing, that's not the right word. It was heartening, maybe is the right word, that so many creators are finally, I think, kind of seeing the light, that you can't just offload the business stuff to someone else and just focus on the creative stuff. Because like this is what I've heard for the last 3-4 years. This is a very common refrain that like I want to have someone to do it for me, handle it for me. I don't want to worry about that stuff. Like I want to just focus on what I'm good at, which is the content stuff. And I get that, I understand. But in order to have the stamina to continue creating amazing content, you have to have an economic engine behind your business that will allow you to continue doing that. And if sponsorships is one of those revenue streams, you can't just delegate that. Right. And so, it was, I was heartened because I think that people are finally coming around. And maybe this is a great opportunity to talk about, man, I'm so excited, God. This has been a long time coming, but we have finally launched Wizards Guild, relaunched, I would say Wizards Guild today. And so you may have heard me talk about Wizards Guild in the past, but we are actually launching a new version of Wizards Guild today, which is essentially group support. So for those of you who aren't familiar, Wizards Guild is an asynchronous sponsorship coaching program. So essentially ongoing support. You know what? Let me actually just pull up. Why don't I just pull up this the enrollment page so we're so we can have some fun, because I'm so excited about the sales page as well, because I spent, oh my God, so much time working on this. All right, here we go. Boom, there we go. There we go. Can we see this? There we go. First of all, I've spent so much time on this enrollment page. It's not even funny. And so Wizards Guild is a weekly negotiation advisory. So my little tagline is take control of your sponsorships, get the ongoing support that you need to set proper rates, submit spellbinding proposals, and negotiate like a pro, all while keeping 100% of your sponsorship revenue. And so the group support element that I was mentioning, that is a new thing that we're launching today, is essentially you can get access to a shared forum where you can get direct support from our team. So guaranteed support from our team. But when we respond to you, other creators in the program will also be able to benefit from our answer. And by the same token, you will also be able to see our comments to on others' negotiations. So I'm calling it group support, a group coaching basically. And so because I get so fired up about creators being able to learn from each other. That's like kind of to go back something I was talking about earlier about just the benefit of seeing how other people are doing it, because for the longest time, as I was building my own business, our content business for the last 15 years, it felt so lonely. I wish that I had someone to turn to say hey, is this a dumb move that I'm about to make? And I really just didn't have anyone. And so this group support version in particular is, I hope, going to accomplish that. So I've got a bunch of testimonials on here. I've got this little intro video more about what Wizards Guild is. And so some people have asked me what does it mean asynchronous coaching? So there are, so basically you submit your questions at any time. You can submit a video, you can submit a text post or whatever, and with your sponsorship questions. So maybe, you are struggling to figure out how to price your deals. You don't know how to set your rates, or a brand asked you for a proposal and you don't know what to put in the proposal, or a brand gave you really challenging feedback on assets that you submitted to them, draft assets, and you don't know how to respond to them, or whether you should charge them more money for that or whatever. So you submit that question any day of the week, and then our coaches will get back to you. I have a team of sponsorship coaches that I've personally trained. Will get back to you the next Tuesday or Thursday. So it's twice weekly asynchronous support. And so again, it's not like you're getting on one-on-one calls with these people, with my coaches, but it's you will get a kind of a direct response. And so I'm so excited. So we've been doing this, the private version of this program in beta for about a year and a half, and the results have been incredible. So you can actually see some testimonials from creators that have participated in this to date, and it's just been amazing. And so really a lot of people have asked me the difference between Brand Deal Wizard, which is my course, and Wizards Guild, and actually, this program came as a result of a lot of people in my alumni of my Brand Deal Wizard program saying, "Hey, this was great, thank you, but we need ongoing support. We, this was great, but I don't want to just be left on to my own devices now after I've learned this stuff. I need help. I'm in this tricky situation now. Can you help me on an ongoing basis?" And so that's where this program came from. And so Brand Deal Wizard is not a prerequisite to Wizards Guild. However, what I will say is that there is, if you are someone who actually wants to get that baseline level of understanding of collaborating with brands and creating a sponsorship strategy, I'm actually offering for the lowest investment effort to actually join my Brand Deal Wizard program as well. And so if you do join Wizards Guild, there'll be like another page before the confirmation page that will allow you to actually join that Brand Deal Wizard as well, to kind of get, you can binge those trainings on demand in about 3 hours or 90 minutes on 2x speed if you want. And so you get access to all the trainings and the checklists and the resources and all that. Because again, you're still going to be the main point of contact essentially for when you're like emailing with the brand or on a call with them or something. And so having that rock solid kind of foundation of sponsorship knowledge is still very critical. And that's what Brand Deal Wizard provides. And so again, Brand Deal Wizard is like the kind of DIY course. You binge it at your leisure. You learn the kind of nuts and bolts. And then the Wizards Guild is the ongoing support. And so, yeah, I'm so incredibly thrilled. And okay, probably the most exciting thing about this is that we have a special launch incentive. So if you join prior to July 15th, so this is like 6 days from now, you can lock in group support for $19.97 a year. And you will essentially be able to like get that price grandfathered forever. And we are going to be increasing the investment to $29.97 a year on July 16th, essentially. So if you think that this program is something that would serve you, and again, I think kind of the whole point is that, like we want to be in your corner, but I just philosophically don't believe in taking a percentage of your income, taking a percentage of your sponsorships. That's just not the model that I believe is, will help you grow your business. And because I have been doing this for 15 years, I just have this very, very strong belief that having a manager, having an agent, having a broker who's taking a percentage of your deals is not the way to do it. You have to learn it yourself. And then perhaps, train someone on your own team to help you do this. Because what I'm not saying is don't have a team, because I have a team, right? And a lot of people in Wizards Guild right now have teams, but you have to develop that knowledge on your own in like within your business, and keep all that revenue for yourself and just kind of have us on speed dial. So if this is something that's exciting to you, go wizardsguild.com, check it out. We'd absolutely love to support you in it. Manifest Dream Pro says that is a great price at $3K. And it's not just at $3K, man. It is $2K right now for the launch period, which I think is a crazy deal. It's a steal, right? So I just think I know this is an insane offer that like I'll say it full throated with my full chest. It's an insane offer. So if this is something you'd find value from, hit us up. We'd love to support you. All right. With that being said, actually, you know what I didn't do? Like what a bonehead I am. Let me pull up a caption for Brand Deal Wizard. For Wizards Guild. Let me just do it right now. Join Wizards Guild. I should have done this earlier, but wizardsguild.com. Join Wizards Guild by July 15th and get $1K a year discount. How about that? Is that good? Add. Let's see what happens here. Boom. There we go. I just pulled it up. Is this going to work? Join Wizards Guild by July 15th and get $1K a year discount. Boom. Wizardsguild.com. There we go. I'll just keep it up. All right, y'all. Okay. Questions. What are your questions around sponsorships, brand deals? Let's dive into it. Let me take a swig because I haven't drank water in a long time. Murillo Battisti, forgive me if I didn't pronounce your name properly. It said, love this channel. Cheers from Brazil. Appreciate you, dude. That really means a lot to me, man. I have always wanted to visit Brazil. It's on my bucket list one day. Manifest Dream Pro said, yes, LOL, yes to both. Appreciate you, dude. Let's see here. Christmas on Crestline says, let's go. Let's go. Appreciate you. Good to see you here. Let's see here. Build and Fix with Mooney says, Justin, I've had 3 companies reach out to me and I could have made it work, but I didn't feel comfortable moving forward being so new. I don't have any mission statement prepared or my proposals. All right. So first of all, let me just acknowledge you because this is a really common thing, actually. A lot of creators, would maybe read that and be like, what are you talking about? Like that's a brand who wants to work with you. Why would you shut that down? But I really appreciate you sharing that and kind of being vulnerable here, because fear holds a lot of us back, I think. And I've talked with so many creators who have been in your shoes, who have said, I got some interest, but I just either didn't respond to the email, or I deleted it, or maybe I had an initial conversation, but I just kind of let it, fade, and I didn't pursue it because I just was worried that I would screw it up, or that I just really felt like I wasn't prepared for that. And so let me just acknowledge you there, because this is a very common thing. But what I will say though is that, there is a danger, I think, of being too prepared, right? Of like making your media kit pixel perfect, and making sure that you have a completely ironed out mission statement, and making sure that you hit a certain subscribership or following or something where you feel like you have this kind of arbitrary threshold or milestone that you feel like you need to reach before you're allowed to collaborate with a brand. And what I'll say to you is that you had 3 companies, 3 brands who already reached out and said, hey, we think you could help us. We think that you'd be a good fit for this opportunity. And so in my view, there's not much more you need other than that initial interest. You've got brands who are raising their hands saying, hey, we actually might be interested in collaborating with you. And yes, of course, it might feel better to, have that all your ducks in a row, and the mission statement and the proposals and the, pitch templates and all that stuff too. Of course that feels better because you'll feel more equipped, but at the same time, you can't, get into this paralysis by analysis phase where you just keep kicking the can down the road and think, I will tackle sponsorships later. I will tackle it down the line. And the risk that you run, I think, is that you just never do it. And you convince yourself that there's better things for you to pursue. And maybe that's the case. Maybe there's other monetizations, like avenues that you want to pursue first, and that's fine. But the risk that I think you run is you just continue thinking like what it's just like, it always becomes tomorrow. That's when next week, that's when I'm going to do it. And so I really would encourage you to be, you may make some mistakes. In fact, you probably will on your first couple deals. Part of the reason that I created this channel and my courses and coaching and all that is to help you avoid a lot of those mistakes, of course. But you probably will. Just make peace with the fact that you're probably going to say something stupid. You're probably going to make a boneheaded move, and you're going to cry about it in the shower or regret it or cringe, or not cry, but hopefully not. But you're probably going to regret it. But that's just part of business. That's just part of doing this and kind of getting the repetitions under your belt. And realizing that, to some degree, the only way, especially if you're in a particular niche, the only way to actually get experience doing this is getting those reps under your belt. And so perhaps some tough love that I might give to you is just like that next opportunity that comes inbound to you. Don't ignore it. Don't delete it. But just engage with them and say, how can I help you? How can I serve you? And don't focus so much on your media kit or your proposals or your mission statement or whatever. As long as, of course, you have to make sure that if you do this partnership, it's going to benefit your following. Of course, you want to ensure that. But like the brand is over here telling you, like, we want to work with you. We think it's going to be good. Don't assume that the brand is thinking something that they're actually not. I actually have an anecdote to share. I had a creator who will remain anonymous, who went through my Brand Deal Wizard live cohort last year and was in a similar situation, had a brand reach out to them and say, hey, we are doing this kind of PR initiatives where we created kind of like a board game with our brand and this other kind of social initiative. And we would love for you to talk about it on LinkedIn. And the creator turned the deal down. They had this discovery calls and it sounded really cool. And ultimately when the brand was saying like, okay, how much is it going to be? How much do we have to pay you to like post about this? Cause it was in kind of a niche. And the creator just backed away. They walked away and they said, I'm sorry, I can no longer pursue this. And the brand was over here like, what the heck happened? We thought this was so promising. But what this creator ultimately shared was so incredible to me, which was that they turned the deal down because they were worried that they wouldn't be able to sell enough board games to make the brand happy. And I said, well, first of all, did the brand tell you that number of board games sold was the success metric, like what their goal was as part of this partnership. And they said, no, I just assumed. And I said, I can almost guarantee you that the brand did not care at all how many like board games they sold. What they cared about was spreading awareness of the fact that they did this initiative. Hey, honey, of course. Come here, baby. Of course. Come here. Friends. We got the cameo. Can you shut it so the cats don't come?
Sorry.
The cat. I know that if they hear the cats, if the cats hear April's voice, they're gonna come in here and start meowing.
Hi, I'm in my pajamas because I'm just with the boys.
Yes.
Hi, friends. How are you? Ooh, who's joining Wizard Guild? Who's joining Wizard Guild?
I just did my little shtick, and I pulled up I figured I would pull up a little thing on the screen about it. Let's see if we scroll down here to get any more comments. Let's see here. Let's see. Oh,
Bianca! Hi, Bianca! Not really a queen. I'm in my jams with my kids.
Rock said it's okay. We were in our pajamas too.
Okay. I mean, I went to Pilates earlier, but other than that, just mom life today. Well, I do want to edit a vlog, but right now I was just picking up laundry, and I feel so bad for Justin because his office is right by the laundry room, so it's loud. Yeah.
Man, you smell good.
Thank you. I got Saltaire deodorant. That's all. Oh, and Sol de Janeiro. Boom, boom, cream. Hi, Delilah. Dang, you real sniffing.
No. I wasn't sipping. I was just going like that. I was just leaning against
So
you.
what are we talking about
We're talking
today?
about Overheard at VidCon, secret hallway conversations.
Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't there. I was with my kids.
Yeah. April was with the kids in the Airbnb while I was at the conference.
Yeah.
I was just spilling some tea.
Ooh, I want to know the tea.
So what I was saying was just like, remember how I was telling you about how like there was just like less fans or less viewers because of, I think TikTok has destroyed a lot of that kind of parasocial relationship that people once felt to creators, you know?
I think it can destroy, but also not, because there's a lot of people I follow on TikTok like religiously, and I care about their life. Like this one guy I follow, he does makeup. He accidentally put glue in his, nail glue in his eyelid or inside his eye instead of eye drops. And I was so worried about him. I like followed his whole like life for a while just to make sure he could see and he was fine. So I think that you can have a very strong relationship with some. It's just not all. Sometimes it's just For You page that I scroll on. And thank you, Bianca, glowing with peaches. His name is Ram, and I love him.
Username?
I don't know his username, but I love him and I follow him, and his name is Ram.
You're proving my point.
No, I love him.
You're proving my point that people don't know their username.
No, but there's a lot of people I follow, like this girl Jasmine.
What's her
She's
username?
just scrumdiddlyumptious, gorgeous, stunning.
What's her username?
Her name is Jasmine. I know her full name.
What's her username?
I know her. It's Jasmine. I know her name.
I'm telling you, this is why.
I know her name religiously. She's awesome, and she's one of my faves.
This is my point.
People be changing their name. For example, one of my favorite makeup. Okay, I don't be following makeup people like that anymore because I'm just kind of like not into makeup like I used to back then, right? But there's this one account, Makeup by Ivory. But she changed her name a few times, but I know her name is Ivory. I know one thing for sure is her name is Ivory, and I follow her religiously. Every single video she posts, I'm a watch. Brittany Mason, she's a supermodel. I follow her. Love all of her stuff. Every time she comes up on my feed, like.
Okay.
Brittany Mason, I follow her religiously on TikTok and Instagram. Guess who else? Serene Wu.
Hold on a second.
Serene Wu, I follow her.
Let me say something. Of course you can come up with examples.
Yeah.
I'm saying on a whole, though, TikTok and a lot of these algorithms are feeding us the content now. We are not saying, I want to follow this person, and then it shows up in my feed, because now they're deprioritizing who we're following. It plays a role, but the primary thing is the content that we're consuming. It's not who we're following anymore. It's different. It's this whole kind of death of the follower thing. It's not about the follower anymore. It's about what the algorithms are serving to us on a silver platter. It's so much easier to just swipe than be intentional and curate the experience for ourselves.
That's true.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's true. But I religiously follow them, and I know their names: Ivory, Brittany, Ram, Jasmine, Serene. I love y'all's, and then some, of course. There's a girl who was on podcast, and they asked, Where
Read it. So
can
people
find
can see.
there? Oh, sorry. There's a girl who was on a podcast and they asked her where they can find her. She couldn't even remember her own. Oh, she couldn't remember her own name because exactly. They change it multiple times. Like one of my favorite girls, I noticed she changed her name multiple times. Yeah.
Hey, look, Annalisa joined the live over here.
Hi, Annalisa. How are you?
What's
That's
up,
my
Annalisa?
cousin. That's my cousin. Oh, the blended beauty. You look familiar. How are you? Manifest Dream Pro. That is awesome. Yeah, well, just follow people so that you can find them all the time if you can't remember their username. You know what I mean? Just do that. Do that. Because that helps them out. Yeah. Thank you for letting me be here.
Yes, thanks for the cameo.
Yeah,
Love you.
I just wanted to shout out some of my faves. I know Creator Wizard at Creator. You know what's a really good account? Like, she's so fun and so hilarious. And she's a mom of 2 little boys. Her man is fine. April Athena 7. Y'all should follow her.
Who's that?
Y'all
Can I
should
get her
follow
number?
her.
Can I get her number? Dang.
Y'all should really follow her. It's at April Athena 7. Y'all want me to spell it? Because if y'all
You should
do
pull it
it
up on the screen.
at-
Yeah.
I'm kidding. Actually, not really. Help me get back to 200K on Instagram because all of a sudden one day y'all decided to hate me. I don't know what I posted that pissed you off. But I'm down to 199K and I'd like to stay on the 200 lane because I swear I could charge a few more bucks if I was at 200K. Shoot, they're out here telling me how much they want to pay me now. And I said, do you know who my husband is? I'm going to get paid regardless, okay? Do you know who my husband is? He can negotiate, okay? He can turn $1 into 1,000, okay? April knows the best ones. Yes, I do.
Speaking of which, who landed a deal today?
Oh, I got a deal. I got a deal with a brand. And y'all, I was telling everyone in Minnesota, I'm a stay-at-home mom now. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I just got a brand deal. I'm not. And we also have a sponsorship coming out soon. So, but I like to make it simple for like the older people in Justin's family, like the ones that I barely know and we just see them once every 2 years. They're like, "Oh, what do you do?" I'm a stay-at-home mom. And then that's it. That's the end of the conversation. Because I don't want to tell you how much I make. I don't want to tell you how it works. I don't got time for that. And my man also tired, so we don't want to talk about that today. That's what we do for a living. So we're not going to do it on our day off. So I'm a stay-at-home mom to any stranger that I meet because I don't want to talk about it. No, but I still get paid. Thank you. Okay, bye, friends. I love you. Have a great day. Stay warm. Drink your water. Mind your business. We still do Amazon Live, just not often. Just not often. Yeah. Yeah. I love you guys. Bye. My cat is mad at me because he's not inside the room. And also, I'm going to go check on my babies. Bye.
Thanks, honey.
Thank
Love you. Oh, my goodness. Hi, baby. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, we just got back from Minnesota. Actually, I went to visit my mom in Minnesota, and so yeah, we just got back yesterday, so we're still unpacking and all that. All right, let me see here. Let's see what other questions we got here. We've got Nikki Bum Bum. We've got Yo Soy Lily tuning in on Instagram. Katarina, Angie Machado. Good to see you here. Let's see. Let's see here. I think I missed a question from Forever Conscious Research Channel said, "Hey Justin, I don't have a huge channel, 16K, but all the offers that I've received, with the exception of 2, have been against my morals and ethics." You know, I hear you. And so I guess my question to that is, were those inbound opportunities exclusively, or were these I'm assuming they are, because you said these offers I've received, or are these opportunities that you like reached out and pitched? I would say, sit and think, okay, like knowing, sounds like you've identified what your morals and ethics are. And so with that in mind, what are the brands or companies that you would feel comfortable partnering with, and reaching out to them and crafting a pitch? getting on their radar, understanding what their objectives are, speculating, doing some research, and putting a pitch in front of them that they would get excited about and that you would get super excited about too, because they're really in line with your own morals and ethics. So I guess that would be the question for you. Yeah, they were inbound. So yeah, this is, again, guys, I need to write an article about this or something. Maybe did I do a live stream about this? I can't remember if I did, but inbound leads are a trap. This is a trap. Once you get to a certain point, yes, it feels like this is what you should do. If I build it, they will come. That feels great, right? But when brands come inbound to you, like oftentimes, actually the majority of the time, it's what I call kind of fully baked, right? 90% of the work to actually scope what they want people to talk about has been done. And you have almost no input into how the partnership will ultimately be executed. That goes down to the talking points. It goes down to the call to action. It goes down to the money that they're going to be willing to pay you because they've already pre-identified what the budget is. And so it's not to say that you can't ever do inbound deals. Like, yeah, inbound deals are great. Sometimes you want to take those deals and that can represent a percentage of your income, but you have to supplement it with outbound prospecting, because when you reach out to a brand and pitch them something cold, it's a blank slate. It is a clean slate because, they perhaps may not have, even thought that they could meaningfully move the needle in their business with their own objectives by working with partners like you. And so, yes, of course, it's going to take a longer time to actually bring those deals to fruition. But those deals are going to be so much more lucrative. Holy cow. Who do we have in the chat but my BFF, Jay Clouse? We've got creator royalty in the house. Let's just throw some sound effects on the board here. If you don't know my friend Jay Clouse, he has a channel business called Creator Science. One of the dudes I look up to so much, you have no idea. If you are not subscribed to his newsletter, creatorscience.com, he's one of the most introspective, thoughtful, just like amazing humans that I have like had the privilege of coming across on the interwebs. And every time I get to hang out with him, especially in real life, I just walk away feeling so energized and soul enriching, I guess is the best way to say it. There's probably no other person that if you want to learn to become a better creator, to learn to become a professional creator, turn this side hustle into a full-time thing, there's no one else that I would recommend to learn from than Jay. He has an amazing membership community called The Lab. I have been in it since day one. A couple years now. It's a community of people who are just doing amazing things in a lot of different niches. Highly encourage. I think he's capped. It's capped at 200 members. And so he has a wait list now, but I would absolutely recommend getting on the wait list. It's one of the best communities that I've ever joined. And so you absolutely need to learn about him. If you don't know about him, binge his podcast. I mean, he is at the top of his game. And so, yeah, Jay said, "Hey BFF, man, this man making my day on the stream right now, dude, man, it's the least that I could do. I should just are you at your computer right now? Let me send you an invite link to Restream and you can pop on the chat. You want to do that? Do an impromptu live stream. I don't know what you're doing right now. Actually, no, wait, you're on paternity leave now, right? So you're not doing anything like that anymore, or are you? I don't know. Let me know, man. I'll send you the link, and we could have fun. Jay, just to quickly shout out Jay. He said, okay, let's do it. All right, I'm gonna send him it right now. Invite guests. Here we go. I'm sending this to you on Twitter, bro. All right, Jay. Let's see how this works. I've never done this live, like before an actual stream, or like during a stream. I've never done that. Okay, here we go. I just DM'd it to you on Twitter, bro. This is going to be so fun. I've never done this. Yeah, Jay was so kind. He sent out like a dedicated email to his newsletter. How many do you have now, bro? Like 60K? 60,000 creators on your newsletter now or something, about my Wizards Guild program that launched today. And so that was Very kind of you, good sir. I appreciate you very much. All right. So while we are waiting for Jay to enter the chat and pull his video up on the chat, did I send it to the right person? Yes, I did. Okay, good. I'm looking to see if he'll pop up in the chat here. Bianca says, bromance time. Yeah, I know, for real. Forever Conscious Research Channel said, thank you kindly for the feedback, Justin. I recently started reaching out to a few brands I'd love to work with, but you're 100% right. I need to make this the standard moving forward. For a while, I also wasn't sure if my channel was really big enough yet to warrant sending out sponsorship proposals. I learned from you and others that this was wrong. So thank you for the advice. You're so welcome, man. I'm so glad to hear that you've had kind of an epiphany here, and surprisingly, audio issues. Stand by, says Jay. Okay, no worries. Stand by. This is actually an interesting observation that I've made recently, being at some of these conferences in person. Is a lot of people have these beliefs that sponsorships are just not for me. I don't think that my audience is big enough, or I think that my content niche, it's just too narrow. I just don't think that there's any brands that would ever, or companies that would ever want to work with me. And so I'm just not going to pursue it. And it's been so, heartening to me to, have a 5-minute conversation with these people, and, they leave that conversation thinking, maybe I've been looking at this the wrong way. And I am going to take a second look at sponsorships. That's just been so enriching to me. So to hear, to hear you share that really means a lot to me. So I'm glad to hear that, man. Good luck. I think Jay has entered the chat. Let's see. Jay has entered the chat. I need to put my headphones on now. Hold on. Cause I never put headphones on these streams. Hold on. Hold on. Can I hear you?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. What's up, bro? Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes. Are we doing it?
Okay. We're doing it live. How are you, man?
I'm good. We are on leave technically, but we're still waiting on the baby arrival, and it's a weird waiting game, man.
Dude. Yeah. So 39 weeks.
39 weeks and 2 days.
Holy cow, dude. And you guys were just Mallory's just done. She's like, I want to meet this baby 3 weeks ago.
Yes,
probably.
She's ready.
Right?
We're doing all of the internet, how to induce labor things. We're doing acupressure.
Dude. Yes. Okay. Yep.
She's been drinking raspberry leaf tea for a while now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Not working yet. So now we are trying to ramp up the oxytocin, and I'm not doing a very good job because I've just been running around the house and not giving enough attention today, including running over to do the stream right now. I feel guilt in this moment.
Bro, I feel bad for asking you to do this impromptu, to be honest.
We were laying next to each other, and you're like, let's get on the stream. I'm like, let's do it. And then you're like, wait, you're on maternity. I'm like, yes, I am.
Well, okay. You wouldn't agree to this for anyone other than me, probably.
Correct.
I think
not.
Is the answer. Well, don't worry. I won't keep you very long. I do want to say we've got a couple people in the chat who said, I just subscribed, Jay. I just subscribed to your channel. Look at this. Look at this. Look at I'm growing your audience, bro. Like this is, look at me. Look at me. Hold on. Someone said something else. I have heard about you for so long via Justin. There, look at that. Look at that, dude. Look at that.
Wow.
This is amazing.
Should we further co-op the stream by talking about our friend Nat Eliason's new book that he launched today?
We should actually. Yes, I feel actually slightly jealous that I didn't get an advanced copy like you, but I've heard it's gripping. Have you read it yet?
Dude, so good. I don't read many books because I'm a slow reader. And this book was actually on my mind. Like, I want to finish doing things so I can keep reading that book. That hasn't happened to me in literal years.
Wow. Dude. Okay. That is. And also, like, you were kind of dabbling in like Web3 for a minute there. So that's probably also interests you.
There's a lot of stuff in the book where he talks about like the people who didn't have as good of information as him losing money. And I'm like, yeah, that was me. I'm that part of the story.
Oh man, Crypto Confidential. Big shout out to Nat. It's been cool watching him build his prolific software writing tracker thing also.
Yeah. Happy launch day to Wizards
Thanks,
Guild.
bro. Dude, I'm feeling so nervous. I didn't even say this like on the stream. Sorry, guys. Now we're entering the after dark of the live stream because we just hit 1:00 Pacific, which is when I usually end the stream. So now we can shift into the real conversation now, which is, this is so stressful. It's so stressful launching things. It's so stressful launching new things. There's a lot of like, I think, humility that comes with like putting yourself out there and being like, hi, give me validation, please. Is this actually a psycho idea that I have? Am I insane? Is no one going to actually want to do this? There's always that stuff going in my mind, I think, when I launch stuff like this. Am I alone? I don't know. Did you feel that way when you launched Creator HQ?
Oh, totally. The anxiety lessens a little bit with every incremental sale. And then eventually you're like, hopefully.
People don't hate me. Good. This is great.
Yes. I didn't just waste 3 months and all of my money preparing for this launch. That's the thing that I was worried about. Not projecting on you.
So speaking of which, I just finished listening to your podcast with Nathan, the newest one. So I do these workouts every morning. It's called F45. I don't know if you know this Mark Wahlberg like invested in this company. They're like these fitness studios where you go, it's a 45-minute workout and it's great. Like, it's like a HIIT kind of cardio type thing. But I listen to podcasts while I'm doing it because it's just, it's just like audio. It's like TV monitors. So you like watch them do it and you like, there's a bunch of people. It's like a group class. Anyways. So I was listening to your podcast with Nathan. And it was just interesting hearing him talk about how like, what would the version of Creator HQ look like if it was like not on Notion, if it was just like independent or agnostic of platform? Any musings since he made those comments?
I mean, there's definitely something there. I've had a few conversations with folks who help develop software because I have a couple of software ideas actually, but that's a huge thing in itself. So the ingredients really have to be right. But the challenging thing about having a system built on Notion is even as I improve the system, I can't like push those updates to people who have it. I have to like record a tutorial to teach people how to integrate those updates themselves. And that actually leads to a bunch of like customer support requests because understanding how to do these things is not easy. So you're actually like kind of disincentivized from improving a product like that, which I struggle with. But there's a couple of things that I've changed now that I want to put into the main template and share with people because it's also a great way to talk about the product again in my own content. To say like, I just added this thing or we're doing this thing around the product. But building like a software version of it, you're essentially saying that you're going to take on like a product management tool. Like you'd build a competitor to Asana, which I don't know that I have the energy to do that for this product. But I think generally that conversation around different ways to improve or increase enterprise value, something I think about a lot. We're doing a lot behind the scenes now to make operations run smoother and not have every road run through me. So it's by and large very positive.
Quick comment on that, but I quickly want to acknowledge Hanati from the KMH family. Thank you so much for your super chat. $9.99 super chat. She said, "Hey Justin, I just wanted to send some love to you in April. Thank you for the last 3 years of dropping gems. Much love to the both of you. Congrats on your launch today." Thank you, Hanati. That really means a lot to me. You've always been such a ride or die awesome. for me here, and appreciate you very much. So thank you. Delilah says, "Congrats on the almost here baby, Jay."
Oh, thank you, Delilah.
Okay, so let me actually, I was going to DM you about this or text you. So I'll just ask you here publicly. I have been, I have an AI chatbot that I've trained on all my stuff already for Creator Wizard for students in my Brand Deal Wizard program already, and it's hugely useful already. But I have like started pulling this thread of really doubling down on a software version to augment what I teach in terms of getting more sponsorships, pitching, proposals, all that. And to the point where I have a proposal in my hand right now from a developer to build this out. And, this is a proposal where it's like, I pay a fee ongoing development costs. Like I own 100% of the software. It's that model, right? And then, the more I thought about, like what James Clear did with Tiny and developing his software and how they kind of split the equity of that, I've just been thinking about like this issue. To date, I own everything, all the IP, I own everything, and yet. I've just been starting to think about like, what does this model look like if I did? Because I really want this software to exist, but I don't have the bandwidth to do it myself. And so like, would it make is it a smarter move to incentivize someone with equity, bring on kind of a equity partner, I guess, developer, who would have a much more of an incentive to make that thing fly. Nathan, when he was doing his coaching call with Ali Abdal, mentioned the kind of solar system idea. If I could just like point my son onto this new thing, grow enterprise value for that. So I don't know. What do you think of that idea in general?
I'm in the same spot. I can't tell you the right answer for you, but I've landed in a place where, well, the smartest, long-term, most profitable decision would be to pay the fee, own it outright, do the hard work of project managing it, and customer support, build a team around it. And, years from now, you're going to have all the upside, and that's going to be the right decision to do if you do it that way. But it's going to be so much more work in the interim. So the question is, do you want to incentivize somebody? And I don't think it's going to be as easy as incentivizing the developer, probably, unless they're a really special person who also is really great at product management and UX design, and will also do customer support for you. Like that's the type of thing I'm looking for, is somebody more in the Tiny model where it's like, we will design it, we'll develop it, we'll maintain it, we'll handle customer support. You literally just direct attention to it. That model is probably more like a 30 to 50% ownership split.
Yeah.
Which again, like over time, that could be something really big. Selling SaaS is really hard. So that's another thing, is like you also de-risk the time you're putting in by doing that. I think you could go either way. It's kind of like, what do I want to optimize for? Because I used to do software, and it's just a lot of time, a lot of customer support too.
Dude, I spent $50,000 hiring developers when I ran the agency, developing custom dashboard for our clients to like track their campaigns, because no white label software existed like back in 2015 when I was doing this. And of course our clients never wanted to use it. And so everything reverted back to email. Kill me. And so it's like, I was like, I'm never doing that again. And like, here I am, maybe I should do this again. It's like, why can't I learn these lessons? But like, I'm convincing myself it's a much better idea now, like, of course,
yeah.
I don't know.
Software is really tough, man. It's a tough game to get somebody to buy software and maintain it. It really needs to be like solving a painful problem for someone to want to add another subscription to their stack. And the pricing on it is like so silly. Most software is so low priced relative to the value that it provides, but we are subscriptioned to death that we are so price sensitive to another one. You want to get really existential for a second?
Yes, I absolutely do. 100%. Actually, before we get existential, remember that I want to show you one thing. As I was like looking at something while you were talking, but look at this. So I shared this update to my full list of like the Creator Wizard AI tool and asking people like, would you pay for this? And of course, saying someone will pay for it is different than actually paying for it. But I can't even tell you the amount of comments I got on this video, the amount of emails I got on this video, 10x anything else I've ever talked about.
Crazy.
And people are saying, yes, what a great idea. I would pay for it. It's a great use case. I would pay for it. Like replies to the email. So I don't know. It's a data point, but just, I was very surprised by that.
I would take that and, run a lifetime deal to whatever small group of people that is and say, let's see if you're actually serious. You can purchase access to it for as long as it exists, which may be a short period of time, but it's going to be a monthly subscription. So if you're serious, buy it here just to truly validate it before I invested in it.
Interesting. Just like a one-time offer thing.
Yeah. It's like lifetime deal. at this price, you get access to this Slack or Circle or whatever, so they can be like the true beta users of it as you develop it. But you should have like relative conviction that you're actually going to develop it. If people actually show that they'll purchase it.
Remember how I was saying before Jay jumped on the stream that he's just like a wealth of knowledge and great ideas? This is an example of that. Like, I just don't think of this stuff. And he was just like, you know what you should do? You should do that. In fact, I was literally at a water park with my kid at a birthday party. And I was like, Jay, help me. I'm trying to launch this Wizards Guild program. And I like called him and he was like, don't do that. Do this thing over here. It makes way more sense. I was going to name the program something else. He's like, stop being an idiot. Just like unify the names, make it all Wizards Guild. And I was like, it was just like him reaching down from the heavens and like tapping me on the forehead. So this is him in a nutshell. So thank you. All right. Existential crisis.
So I've been reading up on this kind of modern philosopher. I mean, he died couple decades ago, but his name is Rene Girard. Have you read any Girard?
He's I know, but yes, I know that name.
Basically, his thesis is that we are mimetic creatures and we just desire things that other people around us desire, especially those that we want to model after. And I think in your and I's space, there's just so much mimetic desire happening all the time. Like, I feel it towards writing books. I feel it towards creating software. You and I often have like the same draws towards things at the same time. And I don't even know if it's us feeding off each other, but I think like we're in the same environment where we're getting the same signals, where we're just taking those signals and saying, yeah, I want that. And so like when it comes to software, that's a thing that right now I'm flagging in my mind. Like, do I actually want to do that? Or does that feel like what the environment is telling me I should be working towards? Same with a book in my case also right now. But you go down that rabbit hole too quickly and you run into things like, is free will a real thing? And so like you gotta keep a little bit of a distance. But I do think that it explains a lot of human behavior.
Man. So where have you landed on that? Are you taking action because of that insight?
I mean, no. I'm not really taking action on anything that I bucket into the new category of more, better, new right now. Because baby.
That's a forcing function for sure.
Yeah. By the way, I want to give you some flowers here real quick. Did you read the email I sent out today about Wizards Guild? Okay. That's a no.
Okay.
So, but here's the important point.
Thank you for that, by the way. I was going to read it later.
Here's the important point. I looked at QuickBooks, and sponsorship revenue for the business January to June of this year, January through June, is literally 2x sponsorship revenue from January through June of last year. And I'm working with probably fewer sponsors. So,
2x?
Yeah, literally 2x. It's like literally 100.43% growth.
Let's just make it happen. let's just do it.
That's all. That's all after the coaching call we did on your channel.
That's insane. That is crazy. I'm so proud of you, dude, because you took action like that. That's wild, dude. How does that make you feel? I mean, you had a lot of trepidation around making some of those changes.
Oh, it's great. It's literally like I have a better relationship to the process. There's more steps involved, but I'm closer to the sponsor. I actually hear the back end of like results more often now. I think the experience is much better for sponsors all the way through. The checks are bigger. They're like multi-platform, and I don't actually care about selling out every bit of inventory because I'm only working with brands that pass a very tight filter, and otherwise I'm promoting my own products, and it's great.
Dude. Well, there you go. This is a completely unplanned testimonial for Wizards Guild, which, by the way, let me just put it up on the screen here. If you join Wizards Guild by July 18th, y'all, you will literally get $1,000 a year discount that you'll lock in forever. So if we ever increase the price, well, we're going to be increasing the price on July 16th. It's going to go up from $1,997 a year to $2,997 a year. So lock it in. WizardsGuild.com would really love to work with you because Someone just joined Wizards Guild, Jay. Holy cow. Look at this. Look at these zaps that are coming in.
I'm gonna be glad you did.
Yeah, but dude. I'm so thrilled to hear that. Proud of you. Please pass along my apologies to Mallory for taking you away from paternity leave. You're not off to a good start, bro. But thanks for jumping on, man. This was a lot of fun. If people want to learn more about creator science, where can they follow you and find you, man?
CreatorScience.com. We just published a new video on the channel about an hour ago. So if you want to see what we're all about, go ahead and check that out.
What's the new vid?
It's with Zach Honabar. You know Zach?
Oh, yeah. Creator Now.
Yep. Co-founder of Creator Now, former manager of Yes Theory and Arac. And I just asked him a bunch of questions about like what separates the top 0.1% of YouTubers from normies like me. And it was a really fun conversation.
Love to see it. All right. Well, you heard it here first. We're going to end this stream and it's like we're going to do a raid when we're streaming. Like everyone is going to, who's watching this, we're all going to go over and watch Jay's video. How about, is that what it's called, a raid? I don't know the parlance.
I don't know gamer parlance or streamer parlance either. But I think that's what it's called. Right.
Yeah, we're all going to raid Jay's YouTube channel right now. All right. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back at it for another live stream next Tuesday, and have a wonderful week. And join Wizards Guild. What the heck? Join Wizards Guild. You won't regret it. WizardsGuild.com. All right.